Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now. Ade Oladipo, brought to you by Undisputed.
Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Alright, a quick reminder, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, the look back episode 3 is up now. Please go and give it a watch if you haven't already done so. I'll put the link up here again. We did Alexander Usyk versus AJ2, which was a really good fight. Give me your fight ideas, fights that you want us to do. It is a bit of a copyright minefield, but we are getting through it slowly but surely. But yeah, the look back episode 3 is up now. Please go and give it a watch. All right, better late than never. We are finally doing the Q&A. My apologies, people. I should have done this a few days ago. I've just been so busy. As you guys know, I've been doing the Club World Cup. I've been doing Talk Sport. I've been trying to put content on this channel and it skipped me. And someone sent me a message the other day saying, what's the point asking us for questions if you're never going to answer them? So here we go. We're going to answer your questions. All right, let's start here. Low Key Alex 7 says, you're being sent out to a desert island, but you can take one of each to last you forever. 1 meal, 1 album, 1 film. What are you choosing to survive and stay sane? By the way, get these type of questions in. You don't have to get boxing questions in. I actually prefer questions like these. 1 meal. I'm probably taking a Nigerian meal. Jollof rice with some chicken and some fried plantain. Yeah, that will keep me going. 1 album. I was going to say a 2-pack album, but that's obvious. I am going to take The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Fantastic. 1 film. Godfather 2. Pacino and De Niro in the same film. I mean, come on. 2 of the greatest actors of all time. RJ World Sports News says, hi, Ade. Question. Prime 140-pound Amir Khan versus prime 140-pound Josh Taylor. Who wins? How do they win? And why? And which performance in their careers were they absolutely at their peak? Ooh, we, I think, answered this a couple of Q&As ago, but I'm going to Q&As ago, but I'm going to try and answer it now again. Okay, wait. Prime performance from each. I think that Amir Khan, that win against Marcus Maidana is severely underrated, severely. Because he's hanging on for dear life at the end, we forgot just how good he looked in that fight. Like, he put Marcus Maidana, he chopped him in half with a body shot. I think it was round 1 or 2. And that was peak Maidana, like peak Maidana. So I'm going to say, that being said, sorry, I'm going to say it's either that Khan performance or Devin Alexander. I think Khan around Devin Alexander, I think at 147 was just frightening. Honestly, he should have got the Mayweather fight. So that's Khan's best performance. Prime Josh Taylor is either Prograis or Ramirez. I'm going to go Ramirez because Ramirez was away from home and it was for Undisputed. So I'm going to go Ramirez. As for who wins, boy, I ain't got a clue. Both of them have fought really, really high-level opponents. I just feel like Josh Taylor could get to Khan's chin. And Josh Taylor is not a big puncher, but he's accurate and he's fast. I feel like he could get to Khan's chin, but I think Khan's speed could be a problem. I'm going Josh Taylor. Josh was undisputed, 140 pounds. I feel like we need to give him way more credit for that. At Wazza1350 says, you reckon you could do G-Man on the old cobbles? Don't think G-Man can take your power. G-Man actually did do a bit of amateur boxing, so he has got hands, but I'm too big, too strong. Too big, too strong, too fast. Yeah, it ain't going to end well for him on the cobbles. It ain't going to end well, because this isn't a boxing match. This is anything goes, isn't it? This is wrestling. This is all about strength, speed, agility. He ain't got a chance. Ryan Shepherd 8625 says, don't know if I'm too late for this, but I'll try it anyway. First off, congrats on 80,000 subscribers. My question is about the NBA. Okay, with Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton out for next season, who do you think will win the Eastern Conference next season? I'm going the Cavs, because I'm hearing they're going to do a good few trades in the offseason. I'm going the Cavs or the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to get a really good big man as well. So I'm going to go either one of those. William Jones 7640 says, do you think it'll be awkward in the gym with Moses and Fabio, as Moses is fighting Fabio's manager, obviously Dillian White? Fabio and Dillian are very close. No, I don't think it will be. Like, when you speak to these boxers, you realize that they're just all about their business and they understand it's just business. I think what will be more awkward is if Moses wins, and we expect him to win, and by winning, he probably climbs into everyone's top 15. I mean, Fabio and Moses are going to be on a collision course. I don't think you can have two top fighters in the same weight class in the same gym, because it's inevitable that they're going to have to match up, or people are going to be screaming for it. Like, really and truly, we should be saying Fabio versus Moses, but I think we're stopping saying that because we know they're in the same gym. So I think one of those guys is going to have to leave the gym soon. I really do. White Choco 705 says, do you think if Canelo stops Bud, it will be a one-punch KO that stops him? No. I mean, Bud's got a chin, you know. Bud's got a chin. We have seen Bud wobbled a couple of times. I'm trying to think. Gamboa many years ago. Kavialaskas wobbled him as well. I think put him down. Remember when, I'm sure Terence Crawford's glove touched the canvas. But Terence seems to have just been able to sort of build up his resistance to taking big shots. Like, Madrimov hit him a couple of times as well, and he seemed to eat those. If Canelo does stop him, and by the way, I think this fight goes to points. If Canelo does stop him, it's going to be a barrage, and it's probably going to be a body shot that starts it all. Where are we? Brobby 1809 says, who do you think will win between Moses Atalma and Jalalov? You guys know who Jalalov is, right? Unbeaten. I think he could be from Uzbekistan. Unbeaten. Is knocking everyone out. Jalalov's run is, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the fact that he turned pro in 2018, but he's then gone back to fighting the amateurs. Don't like it. So he's a double Olympic gold medalist, but he was pro while competing as an amateur in the Olympics. He's a world champion, but he was pro. He was Asian Games champion, but he was pro. I think once you cross that white line to become pro, you can't just then decide to become an amateur again. I don't like it. That being said, I think Jalalov, if they were to fight today, I think Jalalov beats Moses. I think Jalalov is just frightening. Honestly, he's frightening. Right now, Moses probably takes him in a couple of years' time, but right now, I think you go Jalalov. Big Toe Man at TVC says, where would you like to be in 5 years with your broadcasting and hosting? What's the plan? I've not really done a 5-year plan, but in 5 years I'll be nearly 50. And look, if I'm still around and still getting gigs, I'll be very grateful. But the dream is to kind of be behind the scenes. Obviously, you guys know I've started Green Chair Productions, and we're just crawling at the moment. But the idea of Green Chair Productions is that we put out content, like real proper content. And it's not me. I'm just the guy behind the scenes putting it out. If I still get called up to do a bit of football, a bit of boxing, whatever, then I'll be very grateful. But hopefully the YouTube channel is flying, and I'm doing Green Chair Productions behind the scenes. And that's really it. You know, my goal for next year is the World Cup, to host at the World Cup. Some of you know, some of you might not know, but I was the first Black Premier League football presenter, so that was one box ticked. To do all these big boxing events is another box ticked, but to host a World Cup will be just frightening. I'm hosting the Club World Cup at the moment, so after next year, God willing, I host the World Cup, then I'll reassess, but that's all that's in my sights at the moment. This one from, I can't even pronounce this, Olaji Kadits 9434. I butchered that, right? If Usyk retires, do you think AJ should go the WBC route, where both him and Ajagba is highly ranked, and maybe have a title fight in Nigeria? I've given up on this Nigeria fight for AJ. I mean, I've been screaming it, as you guys know, for about 5 years. I called it Chaos in Lagos because it's just fantastic. I don't know what AJ does. I'm almost tired of trying to second guess it. Like, I've stopped making videos about it just because when it happens, it happens. Like, all this AJ might fight Wilder, AJ might fight Fury, AJ might fight what? I'm just bored. I'm not joking. I'm so bored. Just fight now, please. WBA Mitch says, favorite technical fights to watch. What fights do you feel continues to educate you? Bivol Beterbiev 1, Bivol Beterbiev 2, Canelo Golovkin 1 and 2. Like, if you are just, there was certain points in Rigondeaux versus Loma, but that kind of just dived very quickly. But those 4 fights, if you're going to watch anything, watch those 4 fights. I think people look at Canelo Golovkin as just quite brutal, and it was. But technically, what those guys are doing, the feints, the way in which they're cutting off the ring, the way in which they're sort of... The shots are never really landing. They both landed on each other, but the way in which they ride the shots as well, it's beautiful. And Bivol Beterbiev is just 2 Russian elite amateur fighters coming together in the pros. And those 24 rounds might be the best 24 rounds technically that I've ever seen from 2 guys going at each other. Because it wasn't war. It wasn't brutal. It was just technically so perfect. Honestly, so perfect. And to be ringside, and I had a really good vantage point of watching Usyk and Crawford watching it. Even they were like just absorbing everything because they know how good it is as well. This one's from Super Man ACF says, I was rewatching the Canelo versus Bivol fight and it got me thinking about a Bivol versus Usyk matchup. Who do you think is the superior technician? Whoa. So this isn't who will win. Obviously, Usyk's fucking far too big. But superior technicians are a completely different question. You know who I'm fucking with, I think. No, wait. Oh, I don't know. Superior technician. That's a great question, dude. I might have to fence it, that one. That might be like one of the best questions I've ever seen in my life. Superior technician, I do not know. Sombrero Hero 8793 says, who you got? Manny Pacquiao versus Roberto Duran at lightweight. Ain't nobody beating Roberto Duran at lightweight. That's the answer to that question. Even Manny Pacquiao, ain't nobody beating Roberto Duran at lightweight. I mean, look, Floyd would have given him a great fight at lightweight, by the way. Pacquiao certainly would have as well. But in those kind of mythical matchups, I'm always going to go Roberto Duran. I've just got to. This one is from Isaac Smith 2697. Says, hi Ade, if Dubois beats Usyk, will he already have a better resume / career than AJ and Fury? Considering that Usyk is one of the best fighters pound for pound, arguably of all time. One of the best heavyweights pound for pound, and maybe one of the best fighters of all time. It's a good shout. Yeah, I mean, if Dubois, and I said this the other day, and people tried to shoot me down, and I don't know why. If Dubois beats Usyk, he climbs to number 2 in the best heavyweight rankings that this country's ever seen, just behind Lennox. If he beats Usyk, he'll be undisputed. And then it just adds to that run. It adds to the run of Miller, Hrgovic, AJ Usyk. It's phenomenal. And then he's got 5 more years, maybe, as a peak athlete to start adding more names to it. He jumps both of them. Greg Milligan 6334 says, how do you see Canelo versus Crawford going? I've always been confident of a Bud easy points win. Absolutely not. Absolutely not is Bud beating Canelo easy. It's just, that's virtually impossible. It's a close fight. Bud could win on points. Bud could win by a couple. Bud ain't beating Canelo easy. Canelo's far too experienced. We saw Crawford at point struggle against Madrimov. Look, Madrimov's probably at this stage a better mover than Canelo, but Canelo's got tricks up the sleeve, boy. Canelo's got far too much power, really good chin, and he's got boxing ability. I think people acting like Canelo ain't got boxing ability. Canelo's been doing this for 20 years. He's been in there with every style. He's seen every style. He's been there and done it. Nah. Ben 9965 says, could Wilder knock out Dave Allen? Yeah, of course he could knock out Dave Allen. At this stage of Wilder's career, I'd actually favour Dave Allen to knock out Wilder. You heard me right. Mark Hatch 9893, 2015 Tyson Fury versus 2020 Tyson Fury. Who wins? Tyson Fury. That Tyson Fury had those wars with Wilder, so that's kind of in and around that time. was just so good. Although the 2015 Tyson Fury, so you're really leading up to the Klitschko fight, right? Was lighter, less damage, but also less experience. I think Tyson's gained a lot of experience from those Wilder fights and the Klitschko fight. So I'm going to go 2020 Tyson Fury. That's a good question. Jay Swan 295 says, and what do you think of the John Jones Tom Aspinall situation? Embarrassing for John Jones. John Jones is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time, but this is embarrassing. I mean, but John's going through so much. John's not really been a fighter for like 6 years. If you deep it, like he's had 2 fights in 5 years or something. He was almost wanting to fight the old guard rather than fight the new guard, and that kind of happens now. As much as we have given John stick, that happens in boxing. Like the old guard always want to fight each other. They don't want to give the young lion any chance. And I think John's like, fuck that. I ain't fighting a young lion, young bull like Tom Aspinall. Bill Keaveney 1526 says, who do you want Liverpool to sign? Well, you wrote this 4 days ago. Obviously, we've signed Kirkes, we've signed Florian Wirtz, we've signed Jeremy Frimpong. I'm being greedy here, but I want Isak. I'm sorry. I want the best. I want Isak. I want to get rid of Darwin Núñez. I want to get rid of Chiesa, keep Jota. I think we can't get rid of everyone and sign Isak. That's what I think. That's what I think. Right? You're asking me. Mayor Adam West says, do you think Dubois can win if the fight goes to a decision? I feel like he only wins a stoppage. No, he can't win by decision. No, he can't. I like doing the look back and even watching. Go and watch the 2 Fury fights with Usyk, the 2 AJ fights with Usyk. This motherfucker gets stronger in round 10. Honestly, that's where he seems to like come to life. Where everyone's gas tank has just gone empty, his gas tank just goes, all right, it's time to click into gear now. So unless Dubois knocked him down 3 or 4 times and he's won a few rounds 10-8, 10-8, 10-8, I just don't see how he's going to be up on the scorecards. I don't. This one from my main man Ian Hamilton 213 says, what is the opinion you're gathering around people who you speak to regarding Canelo versus Crawford? I'm guessing most are saying Canelo, but I'm Crawford just because I feel like he's been eyeing up Canelo for ages and hasn't got wear and tear on him. You say that, yeah, but I saw an interview with Terence Crawford. I mean, you just type this into YouTube. Terence Crawford, speaking in 2023, was asked, so we're only talking 2 years ago, was asked about fighting Canelo, and he's like, no, those guys are way too big. I'm not making this shit up. Go and type it in YouTube and find it. So he's not really been eyeing Canelo. He hasn't, because back then when Crawford was speaking that, it was a 147 guy, he was never thinking about fighting up 20 pounds. He said those guys are too big. He openly said those guys are too big. So neither of those guys have been looking at each other. Most people are saying Canelo, but very tight, like 55-45. That's what they say. Ollie06C says, why do you, I think they're supposed to say think here, think fighters of the past seem such levels above fighters of today in all weight categories? I disagree. I don't think that is the case. I really don't. I think there's some fighters today. Usyk swims with any heavyweight. Beterbiev and Bivol, any light heavyweight. Opataya, I feel like we haven't seen the best of him, but any cruiserweight. Like literally, I can go down the list on this one. I really can go down the list. Golovkin, any middleweight on earth, Golovkin would have competed with. I don't know how far we're going back here, but Floyd, any 147 fighter. Crawford, any 147 fighter. Do you know what I mean? So I actually disagree. I think we look at those old guys like no one could have touched them. They're the greatest. We've got some great fucking fighters. Honestly. Like Chocolatito and Estrada could compete with anyone down that weight class before. Anybody. So I disagree. All right, I think I've answered every single question. Okay, what's this one? This one, I don't think I answered this. Rob the Old Mong says, who would you have liked to have watched live out of these guys? Jack Johnson, Sonny Liston, Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Lewis, Prime Roy Jones. Can only pick one. I can only pick 2. Okay, if I'm picking 2, Jack Johnson, because you hear all the stories, don't you? You hear all the stories and the footage we've got is all grainy and shit. So Jack Johnson, I watched Prime Roy Jones. I'm that old, so I watched Prime Roy. Sugar Ray Robinson. So like when everyone does, like I always say when I do my, Muhammad Ali's number one, I say it all the time, greatest of all time. But when I speak to boxing heads, they always say Sugar Ray Robinson. And I'm like, okay, what over Muhammad Ali? It's impossible. So I'd like to have seen Sugar Ray Robinson. All right, guys, girls, I did it. I did the Q&A. Thank you very much for being patient with me. See you in the next one. Peace.
Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now.
Ade Oladipo, brought to you by Undisputed.